deployment mode, right? And how this flexible deployment mode enables a seamless operation either on-premise or in the cloud. And so you can manage your device the way you want to, and it provides investment protection and future flexibility. If your needs change, you can move things around with a lot less hassle. The unified hardware, right? So this intelligent management enabling the customers to deploy with really ease and flexibility, and simplifying the purchasing process, so you don't have to purchase something for cloud deployment, something for on-prem deployment, and then you've got this hardware that you're having to deal with. And also the benefits of unified licensing. So with unified licensing, we're also bringing in software, hardware, and support, so it simplifies the purchasing and management. So we'll go over poll one. So while we're getting started, what I'm looking for is what aspect of the unified licensing and this unified experience is most appealing to you, right? So we've got A, which is just simplified global deployments. So we reduce the amount of hardware SKUs that you've got to purchase. We've got flexible management options, so you could do on-prem with a controller, on-prem and autonomous mode for some of the routers and switches, and then in the cloud with Meraki dashboard or Catalyst Center in the cloud as well. So you've also got unified licensing and subscription. So now you simplify the purchasing to embed your support. So when you purchase your license for your software, it also includes your support. And we'll get into some of those details in the future in this session. And also future-proof scalability and investment protection. So as your needs change, if you need to move to the cloud or you want to move from the cloud back to on-prem, you have that capability to do so in the easiest manner possible. So we'll get into the unified experience overview. All right, so before we launched the Cisco Networking Subscription and our unified licensing back in November with our Wi-Fi 7 launch, we had these two distinct experiences. So if you were an enterprise customer, you were buying Cisco SKUs and you were licensing with DNA licensing, and then you were putting things on your Catalyst Center on-prem. If you were a Meraki customer, you had a totally different experience. You were buying Meraki SKUs, Meraki licenses with subscriptions and terms, and managing it in the cloud. And what we're super excited about is this unification coming together more and more, not just with Wi-Fi, but now with some of the new product lines. So the unified networking experience. So this is unified hardware. You only have a single SKU to order. Unified licensing, so you could manage your device as you need, and as your needs change, you can move it around. And then embedded support. So when you need support for your products, your software and your hardware is covered with the subscription. So now you can just, with this unified licensing model, you can seamlessly integrate, secure, or modify your network experience as you need. So first we started off with Wi-Fi, and since I've done this a few times, I'm going to go kind of quick through the Wi-Fi, but we started off with the 9178 and the 9176 back in November. We launched the 9172 access points in February, and so these are truly unified hardware, so we'd no longer have to order like an MR product for Meraki dashboard and a Cisco AP for Catalyst Center, right? You order this one SKU. Also, it's crosses regions, so you don't have to worry about what region you're in. You order this one AP, and you can use it whatever region you're in, however you want to manage it. So one product for all these possibilities, right? So with the new, smarter, and seamless onboarding process, you've got the best platforms for Cisco Wireless for Wi-Fi 7 APs and our networking subscription. So you could deploy your product and your preferred management today. If your needs change, swap it in and out tomorrow. You don't have to change hardware, or you don't have to change licensing. You just move the license with the hardware to the new platform. So the connectivity built for the future, right, with networking subscription and the global access points, we unlock the flexibility. So now, regardless of how you want to manage it, you got your single license. Optimize your budget cycles and investment protection. So if you need to move devices from one location to another, you don't have to worry about regions or which platform you were managing it with. and it's designed and built with our most comprehensive line of Wi-Fi products for Wi-Fi 7, and it's supported by our largest partner ecosystems. So the global use access points, again, we've got the unified hardware, so you have a single SKU to order, smarter onboarding, so it's nice and simple to get it onboarded to the management platform of your choice. And you've got the future-proof flexibility. So now we've simplified the product licensing, so you can repurpose the product, reuse the licenses, and get a better experience overall. So that's super exciting for us on our side to be able to offer that to our customers. So what's available today with our Wi-Fi 7 access points is our 9178, our 9176, that was back in November, our 9172s that we launched in February, and then look for some future announcements this coming year as we launch additional Wi-Fi products. The unified licensing, you get to choose between two tiers, so you have your wireless essentials and your wireless advantage, and your wireless essentials includes your spaces extended, and your wireless advantage includes spaces ACT. So current Meraki customers that have coterm can coterm the new access points with their existing Meraki coterm. If you didn't have a coterm before, you're basically starting a new subscription, so there's no need to try to coterm that. But what's super nice is the ability to start to coterm. So if you're already a Meraki customer and you're familiar with the coterming process, you could buy your new Wi-Fi 7 access points and coterm it with what you have left on your remaining subscription. I think a key call out here, right, for the cloud and on-prem, Catalyst Center 2379 and 313X are going to be the Catalyst Center versions that you need to do the Wi-Fi 7 access points. And the on-premise iOS XE version is 17.15.2 is where we start. So for those customers that are currently Meraki customers, you're already familiar with licensing enforcement. If you're an on-prem customer, then you're probably not as familiar with the licensing enforcement. So the Cisco Wi-Fi 7 access points that were launched, we were supposed to have the full licensing enforcement at launch, but we were a little late. So the first sets of APs that have gone out didn't have the enforcement. But what we should see is that when enforcement does come in a future version of iOS XE, if it's never licensed, your device would have functionality restricted until it is licensed, and basically the Wi-Fi 7 radio would be turned off. So you have 2.4 gigahertz only until you license the device. But once you license the device, the license expires, the device continues to pass traffic, right? We're not impacting the traffic that's going across the network. Basically, your management and monitoring via the management platforms are going to be restricted. So if you're in Meraki Dashboard or in Catalyst Center, you'll have some restriction of management and monitoring. Your software updates are going to be restricted because now you don't have a subscription, so you're not entitled to new software updates, with the exception of critical security advisories and critical bug fixes. Additionally, the cloud-based services and features like your Spaces or ICE integration or Thousand Eyes in a management license or sold as add-ons could be restricted if those expire. And then the most critical part of this, right, is the access to Cisco support. If you need support for your devices are basically unsupported without the subscription. So that's where licensing enforcement starts with Wi-Fi 7. And I'll cover some of the nuances of the other enforcement as we get into the other product lines. So super excited to announce the Cisco 9000 family, so the 9300 smart switches and the 9610 high density modular chassis. So these are the newest switches that were announced at Cisco Live, and they also have the unified license experience. So the smart switches are AI ready with Silicon One and their cloud native iOS XE. Security is infused into the network, right? These devices are PQC compliant, they are Hypershield ready, and they've got compensation controls. So we've provided this operational simplicity with the platform and this flexibility to manage the devices the way you want to. So with the new set of switches, you have the capability of managing it in the Meraki dashboard or in Catalyst Center, or continue with CLI and API access. So the smart switches give our customers, you guys, the choice of how you want to manage it. And right now, what you'll see in the Meraki dashboard as the unification kind of continues is like subtle changes to the login page, headers and footers, and page colors. But what you'll start to see is this gradual integration of what the experience is in Meraki dashboard and what you see in Catalyst Center. So hopefully, at some point in the future, we'll be excited to announce where you have this seamless experience where the experience is the same on either platform. And then also for customers that are not interested in managing the devices with either of the platforms, right, having the access to the CLI and the API access so you can manage your device with your own platform of choice. So with unified licensing, what's available for the smart switches? So I've listed several of the smart switches here. So the 9350s, the 48 ports and the 24 ports, and then the 9610 in modular chassis. So one thing to note is that you still have the same essentials and advantage license tiers. The only exception here in switching is that we won't have an essentials option for the modular chassis because it's a big modular chassis, lots of features. So it wouldn't make a lot of sense to sell an essential package for something that you're going to have in the core of your network somewhere. So I included industrial Ethernet because I think it was just nice to include as part of the overall portfolio with things happening, right? We don't have the unified subscription for the Ethernet switches yet, but the new IE3500 series switches and the IE3500H, the heavy duty switches, both of these are going in that same direction of unified management. And so I was excited to kind of include it here. And hopefully in a future session, we'll be able to give you details about the unified and embedded support with the unified network experience licensing. So what you see is that in later in FY26, it's committed to be able to support these devices in Meraki dashboard. Last week, there was a demo where they had the 3500 in Meraki dashboard, so you can see that in beta and early customer trials. The same with the other switches. You still got the CLI or the web UI access, or you could manage it in Catalyst Center, right? So in the continuing vein of trying to unify the experience for our customers and give you a more seamless experience with the flexibility that you need to manage your devices as your needs change, IoT is going in that similar direction, and we're starting off with at least the management plane capability, and we'll hope to see the unified licensing part come along shortly. As an overview for the licensing enforcement for switches, if you have a switch, and this would go back to the Catalyst 9350 and the 9610, your on-device features are unrestricted. So there's an element of the perpetual feature. So if you're managing it via CLI, you haven't licensed it, you have all other access to all your features. If you're trying to manage it via Meraki dashboard or Cisco Catalyst Center, without it being licensed, you would have limited functionality until you do license it. So that's where the enforcement would start to come in. Again, with the license expiration on the switches, we do the same thing. We follow suit with what was happened on the Wi-Fi 7. Devices continue to pass traffic. The only thing is your management monitoring of the Cisco network platforms will be restricted. You get the same restriction for software updates because you're no longer covered under service. So you're restricted except for critical security advisories and critical bug fixes. And then the same, any cloud-based services or features like Spaces or ICE or Thousand Eyes, something that would have been included in the package, would be restricted as well. And then, like I said, the most important part is no Cisco support. If you have an issue with the device, you don't have a support contract, so you would not get support there. And for license management, right, the Cisco Networking Subscription covers Meraki Dashboard. If you're a current Meraki Dashboard customer and you also have Cisco Catalyst Center, you may be managing license on both sides. What's super nice about the licensing management structure now is that Meraki Dashboard can give you a full license visibility of what you have in Meraki Dashboard and your CSSM, so your Cisco Smart Software Manager. So if you're hybrid already, uh, that enhanced view of being able to understand what licenses you've consumed, what licenses you have left, I think is super cool to announce. And then if you're on-prem and you're managing your devices with CSSM only, you have this one place, CSSM for devices visibility and access to all your licenses there. And if you're cloud averse or you're an air gap customer for security reasons, there's licenses particularly for those customers to manage them on-prem without having to talk to the cloud. So the networking subscription support, right? So what we've done is we've embedded the base support for your hardware and software together with the subscription. So now you have your ongoing network value across your entire network subscription. You've got your unified support for both your software and hardware. It simplifies your licensing and support procurement and your renewals. So we're able to keep your network performing with the expected reliability that you purchased, improve efficiency and reduce risk with digital insights that you have with the cloud-based platforms and the on-prem platform. And then also you get advanced learning skills and expertise with some of the capabilities that come with the embedded subscription for knowledge training and learning to update your skills. And now we get into routing. So the Cisco 8000 series secure router portfolio, a router for every type of site. We've got our small branch routers, the 8100s, our medium branch routers, the 8200s, a large branch for 8300s, and then campus and data center, the 84 and 8500s. And so all of these come with the standard 2-year warranty due to the reputation of our reliable hardware and the quality that we're producing. I think what's super cool here is the fact that with the centralized single pane of glass for security, really embedding security into the routers and the devices, and bringing Meraki Dashboard and SD-WAN Manager, together via the secure router, so you get this consistent enforcement for your enterprise branches, and you can have your secure access and your secure firewall, all of your policy management, across both platforms. Now you get this integrated security for all of your branches. The security starts, the capability starts at 20.18, and so that's something to look forward to. There's the Cisco Networking Subscription that I'm covering here. There's also a routing subscription that it's not part of UNX. I won't cover it, but there's additional information and links that we'll provide. So we're going to cover the UNX subscription for the secure SD-WAN, both covering Cisco hosted cloud, so the cloud and cloud pro. So with the device, similar to the switches, you get the OS Essentials, which is perpetual. So if you're managing your device via CLI or API access, right, you have full access to your device. Your network subscription, 36 to 84 months, you have the same Essentials and Advantage packages, right, trying to stay aligned and make it easier for you to understand. And then that embeds our tax support. And then if you want to do add-in packages for threat, malware, or content filtering, the URL filtering, you could add those packages on. And then there's also the additional hardware RMA if you need 4-hour replacement or next business day, whatever your RMA needs, you could add that onto the package as well. And so the difference between the cloud and the cloud pro is either the multi-tenant or the single tenant for your Cisco WAN Manager platform instance. And so what I've included is the Cisco 8000 routers here, and also the enable management mode. So you've got the cloud, the on-prem or hybrid, do a little both as you need, and as your needs change, you're able to move the hardware and the licenses. So these Cisco routing subscriptions, you see we've got the small, medium, and large, and in both the essentials and in the advantage tiers. So we cover basically what you need. You can tailor it to your use case. And then for those customers that are state and local government, and you need like a private license reservation, there's also SKUs for those as well. So the iOS XE version is 17.15.3 is where things start, and the cloud version is 20.15.3, I believe, if my memory serves me right. And licensing enforcement for routing follows suit with what we've done for switching, right? The devices have your, if you want to manage it in autonomous mode, you've got your full features and you're unrestricted. If you're trying to manage it in the cloud or on-prem SD-WAN manager, until you get the appropriate license, right, you can't provision them there. Once you do get the licenses set and the licenses expire, the same thing happens as in switching. The devices continue to pass traffic. You'll get an out of compliance message on your Cisco SD-WAN manager if you've got one or more devices that has an expired license. And then your management, monitoring, and analytics from the Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN manager are going to be restricted, and also access to support through the subscription will be denied. I see I left out the bullet point for the software update, so that this one would also include the software updates only for critical security advisories and critical bug fixes as well. So the unified support for Cisco Networking Subscription, what you get access to is your Cisco communities, so you can connect with your peers and Cisco specialists. You get your trusted support, so you're 24/7 for hardware, software, and your OS support to keep your network running. Your software update. There's also the Cisco Support Assistant. I didn't include a lot of information here, but the Cisco Support Assistant is our AI support. So you could actually, in a chat menu, kind of go through and get your support questions answered. Your digital insights, so your asset and license views, being able to manage cases, your security advisors and field notices, and priority bugs that actually affect your devices, as opposed to just saying, here's a list of field notices, go read them and see if your devices are impacted. So being able to get that digital insight and understand, do I have a risk with a security advisory field notice, or a risk with this particular bug. So we're looking to improve your operational efficiency. And then e-learning, right, your on-demand courses, best practices to advance your skill set and expertise. So with all that, we also get the customer support experience. So it's streamlined. So you have a single point of contact, whether you're managing in Meraki dashboard, or you're managing on-prem in Catalyst Center, or you're choosing to manage your switch or router in a autonomous mode with CLI and API access. So you get to the same severity 1, 2, and 3 that we normally have for TAC support. And so now Meraki TAC and Cisco TAC will collaborate and work on a fix if you're using Meraki dashboard or Catalyst Center. So you don't have to worry about which person I'm trying to contact. Is it a problem on one side or the other? That is kind of addressed with our internal collaboration and a more simplified process. So now when you look at what you get from your support contract perspective, you get the same. So you don't have to worry about a different support experience based on your management platform choice. So the severities are pretty standard. We've had these for quite a while. So severity 1 would be critical business impact. So the device or software is down. Severity 2, it's impaired, your service is degraded. Severity 3 would be a minimal impact on your operations. Maybe your hardware software is partially degraded but still passing traffic. And then severity 4 would be maybe it's just a configuration issue, implementation, or config assistance. So our unified experience is aiming to seamlessly interoperate between your management experiences, provide no PID variations driven by your software provisioning attributes. So it doesn't matter which management platform you choose, what software feature set or regulatory domain you're in. Right, we have this unified piece of hardware. Unified licenses have a single license that enables any management mode, a common set of tiers. So you have use case parity, and you understand, whether you're in switching, routing, or wireless, you have your essentials and advantage packages, and then bringing along this common licensing enforcement, so we all have the same experience and know what to expect. And with our unified support, embedding support into the software subscription, giving a consistent set of deliverables and SLAs, independent of the management mode that you choose, and a common set of CX services and post-sales experience. So bringing it all together and just really trying to give the customer the best possible experience and reduce the friction as much as possible. And poll number 2, so which platform do you primarily use for managing your wireless and wired networks? So do you use Catalyst Center, Cisco Meraki Dashboard, Catalyst SD-WAN, a combination of both, hybrid mode, Catalyst and Meraki, or neither? Do you use a API-driven, something like Ansible or Puppet Chef, right? And key points. All right, so what we're looking to do is simplify your deployments for Wi-Fi. So you've got your global use access points to streamline your deployments. So you don't have to be region specific. It doesn't matter which management platform you're trying to manage it with. So we're hoping to reduce complexity and save you time there. The management flexibility, being able to support the devices is either on-prem, cloud managed with Meraki, and switching between modes, giving you this flexibility and protecting your investment as your needs change. The unified licensing subscription, so our networking subscription provides a single unified license for your hardware, software, and support. So your purchasing is made easier, management's made easier, it's easier to renew these, because once you get your subscription, you can start to co-term. I think there's like a 24-month window where as you start your subscription, you could continue to co-term there. And it applies to both Catalyst and Meraki deployments of these devices. And future-proof scalability, right? The solutions are designed to scale, evolve with your needs, ensure that your investment is protected, and you can adapt to your future demands. And we've got a little time for some Q&A, and we'll share some additional resources.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. Great presentation. As you mentioned, we'll go ahead and take some time for some questions now. So if you have a question, please be sure to type your question in the Q&A panel, and we'll get those answered accordingly. Okay, first question I see here is, what's the implication of the illustration where Meraki DB and SD-WAN Manager are grouped together, specifically slide 28?
Right. So what that's doing is that's giving us the ability to share information between Meraki Dashboard and SD-WAN Manager to keep your security groups the same. So you can have a single unified security policy. And so there's connectivity between the SD-WAN Manager and Meraki DB specifically for keeping your security policies together.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Another question came in about if today's session is being recorded. And yes, it is being recorded. And two, where is the post discussion in case they don't have an answer now? They can, or a question now, they can ask later. Yes, we have a link to the post event discussion thread. Let me go ahead and paste that into the chat box. So feel free to bookmark that. Let me do that now. All right. Let's see here. See if there's any other questions that came in. Da, da, da. Doesn't look like there's any new questions. I guess we
All
can
right.
start to wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian,
Yeah, we can start
please.
to wrap up. We've got new upcoming webinars. So what's new in Catalyst Center will be presented on July 16th. As usual, right, we have our Cisco Customer Experience Services. So we provide advisory, implementation, managed optimization services, uh, additional technical services and training. And you also can get the same type of support from our wonderful partner community. And so we are really looking for your feedback on the experience here. So we're trying to make these things valuable to you, give you enough information that you need to make new decisions or make this time valuable use of your time here. So we really do value your feedback, and we try to take that feedback and improve these sessions.
Awesome job. Thank you very much, Brian, and the whole team for bringing your knowledge to the Cisco community. As Brian mentioned, there is a survey. So as you exit the session today, you'll be directed to that post-event survey. So we do encourage you to take the time to participate, give us some valuable information. All right. So again, if you have a question, I'll keep the Q&A window open for a couple more minutes. Or you can just jump onto the Cisco Learning Network in that link on the chat, where you can go ahead and continue the conversation. For even more tutorials demonstration, please do visit the Cisco Learning Network. You can use that same link. Once again, we thank everyone for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone.